Daily Discipline: How Small Actions Create Big Success. Introduction. Every person dreams of building a better life. We imagine having more confidence, more money, more health, more knowledge, or more peace. We picture our future self living with purpose and achievement. But between who we are today and the future we want, there is a path we must walk. And that path is not built on miracles, sudden luck, or big dramatic moments. It is built on something quieter, smaller, and more powerful: daily discipline. In a world that celebrates quick wins and overnight success stories, discipline can feel boring. It does not shine like talent. It does not impress like genius. It does not attract attention like huge achievements. But discipline is the invisible engine behind every strong life. It is the reason people move forward when motivation fades. It is what keeps goals alive when challenges appear. And it is what transforms small, simple actions into extraordinary results. If you look closely at anyone who has achieved something meaningful, an athlete, a business owner, a student, a creator, a leader, you will notice a pattern. They did not rely on motivation alone. They did not wait for the perfect moment. They did not depend on talent or luck. Instead, they committed to a series of daily actions, repeated again and again, even on the days when they did not feel like it. These small actions, done with consistency, became habits, and those habits built the future they wanted. This book is about that process, the power of small steps and the discipline to repeat them every day. Daily discipline is not about punishing yourself or living without joy. It is not about being perfect. It is about choosing what matters and then showing up for it each day, even in a small way. It is about doing the things you said you would do, even when you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. It is about keeping promises to yourself. Most people fail not because their goals are impossible, but because they tried to change everything at once. They start with big plans, big expectations, and big pressure. When they can't keep up, they quit, and they think they have failed. But they did not fail. Their strategy did. Success is not built on big actions. It is built on small actions done consistently.
Think about a drop of water falling on a stone. One drop does nothing. 10 drops do nothing. But millions of drops, over time, create a hole in the stone. That is the power of consistency. The same is true for your life. One day of reading will not make you wise. One workout will not make you strong. 1 hour of studying will not give you mastery. But repeated daily, these actions shape your mind, your body, your habits, and your destiny. Discipline is also deeply personal. What you need to stay disciplined may be different from what someone else needs. Your routines, your habits, your challenges, your environment, your dreams, these are unique to you. That is why this book will not give you a strict, rigid formula. Instead, it will give you tools, principles, and strategies to help you build a disciplined system that fits your life. We will explore how the brain forms habits, how environment influences behavior, how small choices compound over time, and how routines create stability in a chaotic world. We will talk about motivation, why it is useful but unreliable. We will discuss how to overcome procrastination and how to stay committed even when life gets difficult. We will look at how small victories build confidence and how discipline helps you become the kind of person who trusts themselves again. Most importantly, this book will show you how simple actions repeated daily can produce big success in any area: your studies, your work, your health, your relationships, your finances, and your self-growth. You do not need to transform your life in 1 week. You do not need to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. You do not need to follow someone else's routine. You only need to understand one truth. If you can do something small each day, you can change your life.
Daily discipline is a gift you give to your future self. It is a message that says, I believe in who I can become. It is a quiet promise that you will keep moving step by step, even when no one is watching. It is choosing progress over perfection, consistency over intensity, and long-term vision over short-term comfort. This introduction is your first step into a journey of growth. As you continue through the chapters, you will discover that discipline is not an enemy. It is your greatest ally. It is the structure that frees you, the tool that shapes your ambition, and the bridge between your current life and your best possible future. The challenge is simple. Start small, start today, and keep going. The reward is powerful, a life you are proud of.
Chapter 1. The Hidden Power of Small Daily Actions. Success often looks big from the outside. When we see a successful person, we notice the final result, the finished book, the strong body, the successful business, the top grades, the confident personality. What we do not see is the process that built these results. We do not see the early mornings, the repeated practice, the hours of learning, the hundreds of small choices made each day. Because these steps are invisible, people imagine that success comes from one huge decision, one lucky moment, or one dramatic change. But in truth, almost every big success is created by thousands of small, consistent actions. Daily discipline is the tool that makes these actions possible. It is not loud, it is not flashy, and it is often not exciting. But it is powerful, far more powerful than motivation or talent alone. To understand discipline, you must understand that the human brain is shaped by what we repeat. Every time you do something, reading a few pages, exercising for 10 minutes, studying for half an hour, practicing a skill, avoiding a distraction, you strengthen a pattern in your mind. And over time, that pattern becomes a habit. Those habits, repeated daily, become the foundation of your success. But first, let's talk about why small actions matter more than most people think. 1. Small actions are easy to start and easy to repeat. Many people fail because they try to do too much at once. They decide they will start reading 2 hours every day, or working out for an hour every morning, or studying every night for 3 hours. These are good goals, but for someone who is not used to them, they are too big. The brain resists sudden, difficult changes. When something feels too hard, we delay it, avoid it, or quit it. But small actions feel manageable. Reading 5 pages, doing 10 push-ups, learning 5 new vocabulary words, studying for 15 minutes. These actions feel light. They do not scare the mind. They do not demand too much energy. They are simple enough to begin at any moment. And once you start, you often find yourself doing a little more. This is why the first step is always the most powerful. If you can reduce the barrier to starting, you can begin building habits that last.
When you choose small actions, you remove pressure. You allow yourself to build momentum gradually. A single small action may not look like much today, but repeated over weeks and months, it becomes a powerful force. And that force shapes your identity into someone who follows through. 2. Small actions grow through compounding. Compounding is one of the most powerful principles in life. Just as small amounts of money grow when invested over time, small daily actions grow into major results. Many people underestimate this because they expect immediate change. They go to the gym for a week and do not see results. They study for a few days and still struggle. They read for a few evenings and feel no different. Because progress is slow at first, they think it doesn't work. But compounding is invisible at the beginning. The first days feel unimportant. The first weeks feel slow. But then something shifts. You understand more. You become stronger. You feel more confident.
The habit becomes natural, and suddenly the results start to appear. Not because of one big action, but because of dozens of small actions done consistently. Compounding rewards the patient and the disciplined. It punishes the inconsistent. This is why discipline is not about intensity. It is about consistency. 5 minutes every day is more powerful than 1 hour once a week. Small actions compound not because they are big individually, but because they happen daily. The daily repetition creates a rhythm that shapes your mind and your future. 3. Small actions build a strong identity. Every time you complete a small action, you send yourself a message. When you read even a few pages, you tell yourself, I am a reader. When you practice even a little, you say, I am someone who improves. When you keep a promise to yourself, you say, I can trust myself. Identity grows from consistent behavior. You do not become disciplined by reading about discipline or wishing for discipline. You become disciplined by doing disciplined actions again and again. Even if the actions are small, they slowly shift how you see yourself. And when your identity changes, your behavior becomes easier. You no longer force yourself to act, you simply act because it matches who you believe you are.
This is why many people struggle. They rely on motivation. Motivation feels strong, but it does not last. Some days you feel inspired, other days you do not. If you depend on motivation alone, your actions rise and fall like a wave. But discipline is different. Discipline does not ask if you feel like it. It does not negotiate with excuses. It does not wait for the perfect moment. It simply moves. Identity-based discipline is the strongest kind. When you act daily, you build identity. When you build identity, you become unstoppable. 4. Small actions fight against overwhelm. Overwhelm is one of the biggest enemies of progress. When a goal is too big, like writing a book, learning a language, losing weight, or starting a business, it can feel impossible. People look at the size of the goal and freeze. They focus on the final result instead of the next step. When the mind sees something too large, it shuts down out of fear or confusion. Small actions break the goal into manageable pieces. You no longer think about writing a whole book, you think about writing one paragraph today. You do not think about learning 3,000 vocabulary words, you think about learning 5 today. You do not think about losing 10 kilograms. You think about one small healthy meal today. This reduces stress and increases clarity. You can always take one small step, and by doing so, you prove to yourself that progress is possible. Once you overcome the feeling of overwhelm, everything becomes easier. 5. Small actions create stability in a chaotic world. Life is unpredictable. Some days are calm, others are stressful. Some weeks you feel energetic, other weeks you feel tired. But discipline creates an anchor, a stable point in your day that keeps you grounded. When you practice a small habit daily, you build a routine that protects you from chaos. Even if your day is difficult, you can still complete one small action. And that action reminds you that you are in control. You may not control everything in life, but you control your daily habits. This is why disciplined people stay focused even in hard times. They rely on routines, not emotions.
6. Small actions build courage and confidence. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build through action. When you complete small tasks every day, you gain a sense of control. You see that you can create results in your life. You begin to trust yourself more. This trust grows into confidence.
Confidence does not come from reading motivational quotes or hearing compliments. It comes from proving to yourself that you can do what you said you would do. Every small completed action is evidence. And the more evidence you collect, the stronger your confidence becomes. Discipline teaches you that you can rely on yourself. That feeling is powerful. It changes how you walk, how you speak, how you think, and how you face challenges. 7. Small actions are the foundation of every major achievement. If you break down any big achievement into its smallest parts, you will find that it is built on simple actions repeated over time. A person who writes a book writes it sentence by sentence. A student who masters a skill learns it page by page. An athlete who becomes strong trains minute by minute. A business grows customer by customer. A healthy body is built meal by meal, workout by workout. A confident mind is built thought by thought, habit by habit. Nothing big is built all at once. The world may celebrate the final moment, but the true work happens quietly, every day. This is the foundation of daily discipline. Understanding that your future is shaped not by what you do once, but by what you do repeatedly.
Why people resist small actions. If small actions are so powerful, why do so many people ignore them? Because they seem too simple. People want fast results. They want transformation today. They want success tomorrow. Small actions feel slow. They feel too easy. They do not give you immediate satisfaction. But the truth is, anything that grows slowly also lasts longer. Quick results fade. Slow results stay. Another reason is that small actions don't bring attention. No one will congratulate you for reading 5 pages or exercising for 10 minutes or studying for 20 minutes. These actions happen in silence. But the world only sees the final success, not the countless invisible steps that came before it. Learning to value small actions means learning to appreciate the quiet work that others ignore. The real strength of daily discipline. Discipline is not about working hard all the time. It is about working consistently over time. It is about designing a lifestyle that supports your goals. And it is about accepting that small steps, repeated every day, will lead you to places that big steps taken once never can. Daily discipline has 3 strengths. It creates momentum. Once you start acting daily, habits become easier. You stop overthinking. You stop delaying. You simply follow the rhythm you have built. It makes you reliable to yourself. You stop breaking promises. You start trusting your own word. This inner trust is one of the strongest forms of self-respect. And it protects your future. Every small action you do today is an investment in your future. You are building skills, knowledge, health, and discipline that you will rely on for the rest of your life.
Your first step. Before moving to the next chapter, take a moment to reflect on one question. What is one small action I can do every day that will move me toward the future I want? The answer might be small, but it can change your entire life. Every big success begins with one decision: to start. Your journey with discipline begins now.
Chapter 2. Why motivation is not enough. Every journey towards success begins with excitement. At the start of a new goal, people feel inspired, energetic, and ready to change their lives. They imagine their future, they feel motivated, and they believe nothing can stop them. But after a few days or weeks, that energy fades. The excitement becomes weaker. Distractions appear. Life becomes busy again. Old habits return.
and the goal slowly disappears. This experience is so common that many people believe there is something wrong with them. They say, "I'm not disciplined," or "I'm not strong enough," or "I always fail," when in reality, the problem is not with them. It is with the idea they were taught. They were taught to depend on motivation, but motivation was never meant to carry them to success. Motivation is a spark, not a fuel source. It starts the fire, but it cannot keep the fire burning by itself. Understanding why motivation fails is one of the most important steps in building daily discipline. 1. Motivation is emotional, not logical. Motivation comes from emotion. It rises when we feel inspired, when we hear a powerful speech, watch a motivational video, read a story, or imagine our successful future. Emotions are strong, but they're also temporary. They move like waves, high at one moment, low at another. One day you wake up excited to study or exercise or work. The next day you feel tired, stressed, or distracted. If your actions depend on how you feel, your results will rise and fall with your emotions. This creates inconsistency, and inconsistency destroys progress. Discipline is different. Discipline does not ask how you feel. It asks what you committed to. It does not depend on emotion. It depends on decision. When you act based on discipline, you act even when your emotions change. You build your life on stability, not feelings.
2. Motivation is strong at the beginning, weak in the middle. When starting something new, motivation is naturally high. Everything feels fresh. The goal feels exciting. You have not faced any difficulty yet. But as soon as the hard parts appear, fatigue, boredom, slow progress, mistakes, challenges, motivation drops. Most goals fail in the middle, not the beginning. That is the moment when the excitement disappears and the work becomes real. Many people quit not because the goal is impossible, but because they expected motivation to stay high forever. When it drops, they think something is wrong. But nothing is wrong. This is simply how motivation works. The middle of any journey is where discipline must take over. If you rely on motivation during this stage, you will stop. But if you rely on discipline, you will push through the difficult parts and reach the results others never see. 3. Motivation is unpredictable. You cannot control when you feel motivated. Some days you wake up ready to work. Other days you wake up tired. Some weeks you feel inspired. Other weeks you feel overwhelmed. If your progress depends on motivation, your progress will be unpredictable. Imagine a professional athlete training only on the days they feel motivated. They would never become champions. Imagine a student studying only when they are inspired. Their knowledge would never grow. Imagine a business owner working only when they feel energetic. Their business would collapse. Successful people do not wait for motivation. They create habits that guide their actions no matter how they feel. They remove the need to make decisions each day because their routines already contain the decisions. A disciplined person does not say, "I will work if I feel like it." They say, "I will work because it is who I am."
4. Motivation often depends on the environment. People feel motivated in certain environments: a quiet space, a clean room, a gym full of energy, a classroom filled with other learners, a library, or a place that inspires focus. But life does not always offer these perfect environments. Sometimes your room is messy, your schedule is busy, your surroundings are noisy, or your mood is low. If motivation depends on the environment, then progress becomes fragile, but discipline adapts. A disciplined person can still take a small step
even in an imperfect environment. They can study for 10 minutes when the room is noisy. They can exercise at home when they cannot go to the gym. They can read a few pages even when they feel tired. This flexibility gives them strength. Motivation loves perfect conditions. Discipline works in real conditions. 5. Motivation pushes you. Discipline pulls you. Motivation works like a push from the outside. It pushes you to begin. It pushes you forward for a short time, but when the push stops, you stop. Discipline works from the inside. It pulls you toward your goals because your habits, routines, and identity already align with them. When the world becomes chaotic, discipline keeps pulling you forward quietly. This inner pull is stronger and more reliable than the outer push of motivation. When you transform daily actions into habits, you no longer need to push yourself every day. The habit becomes automatic. It becomes easier to continue than to stop. This internal pull is the true secret behind long-term success. 6. Motivation focuses on the goal. Discipline focuses on the process. Motivation makes you imagine the final result. You picture yourself successful, strong, confident, or accomplished. This is useful, but it is also dangerous because it can make you impatient. You want the result quickly. You expect progress to be fast. When it isn't, you become frustrated. Discipline focuses on the process, not the outcome. It teaches you to value the daily actions rather than the final picture. When you focus on the process, you stop worrying about how long the journey will take. You focus on today, on this one step, on this small action. This makes the journey smoother and more peaceful. A disciplined person does not say, "I will be successful soon." They say, "I will take today's step and tomorrow's step and the next." Success becomes a natural result, not a constant worry.
7. Motivation can be exciting, but not transformative. Motivation can change your mood, but only discipline can change your life. You can watch the most inspiring video and feel powerful for 15 minutes. You can read a motivational quote and feel strong for an hour. But if your actions do not change, your life does not change. Motivation without discipline is like wind without direction. It moves you, but not toward a goal. Transformation comes from consistency. It comes from doing what matters even when the excitement disappears. Every great result, good health, deep knowledge, strong skills, financial progress, emotional stability, comes from small, consistent actions over time. Discipline is what makes those actions possible. 8. Motivation makes you dream, discipline makes you do. Dreaming is easy. Anyone can imagine a better future. But doing the work daily, even when you do not feel like it, is rare. That is why disciplined people are always ahead. While others are dreaming, they are acting. While others are planning, they are practicing. While others wait for the right moment, they create the moment. Discipline transforms you from a dreamer into a doer. It moves you from wishing to working. It turns your ideas into reality, your plans into habits, and your goals into achievements. Motivation fuels imagination. Discipline fuels transformation. 9. Motivation is a good start, but only a start. Motivation has a role. It is not useless. In fact, it is often the reason people take the first step. Inspiration can awaken desire. It can give you clarity. It can make you believe that change is possible. But motivation was never designed to carry you for the entire journey. Think of motivation as the spark that lights a candle. Without the spark, nothing begins, but the candle stays lit because of the wax, not the spark. Discipline is the wax. It is what keeps the flame alive long after the spark fades. You do not need to reject motivation, you simply need to understand its limits. Let it inspire you, let it energize you, but do not depend on it.
10. Why discipline always wins. Discipline wins because discipline is stable. It is not emotional. It is not temporary. It is not dependent on external conditions. It is built on commitment, routine, and repetition. When motivation disappears, which it always does, discipline keeps you moving. Discipline is stronger than talent, stronger than luck, stronger than mood, stronger than excuses, stronger than circumstances. A disciplined person does not need their day to be perfect, They only need to do their small daily action, and that action, repeated over time, gives them a massive advantage over everyone who waits for motivation. How to train yourself to rely on discipline. You do not need to be born disciplined. Discipline is not something you either have or do not have. It is a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained through practice. Here are a few simple principles that help you move from motivation-based action to discipline-based action. 1. Start small. Choose an action so small that you cannot make an excuse to avoid it. 5 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of studying, a short walk, a small step every day. 2. Create a routine. Decide when you will do the action, same time each day. Routine removes decision-making and makes habits automatic. 3. Focus on the process. Stop worrying about results. Pay attention to showing up daily. The results will come on their own. 4. Limit distractions. Reduce the things that take your attention. A simple environment supports discipline better than a chaotic one.
5. Celebrate consistency. Reward yourself for sticking to the habit, not for the size of the action. Small victories matter. 6. Forgive yourself quickly. If you miss a day, return immediately. Do not let a small mistake become a long break. Build identity. Tell yourself, I am disciplined. I keep my promises. I show up daily. Identity makes habits easier. The turning point. When discipline becomes natural. In the beginning, discipline feels difficult. You must push yourself. You must remind yourself. You must plan your actions. But after enough repetition, something changes. The habit becomes lighter. The resistance decreases. The action becomes part of your life, just like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. This is the moment of transformation. You stop needing motivation. You stop fighting your own mind. You stop delaying. You simply do the work because it feels natural. This turning point does not arrive suddenly. It arrives quietly, after weeks or months of showing up. And when it arrives, your life becomes easier. You realize that success is not about heroic effort. It is about quiet consistency.
Chapter 3. Understanding Habits, the Machinery Behind Discipline. Every action you repeat becomes easier over time. Every behavior you perform regularly begins to feel more natural. This is the power of habits. Habits are the hidden machinery inside your life, the automatic behaviors that guide most of what you do each day. Many people think discipline is all about force, willpower, and effort, but in reality, discipline becomes easier when you understand how habits work. You do not need to fight yourself every day. You need to build systems that make the right actions automatic. Habits shape your mornings, your evenings, your health, your happiness, your productivity, and even your dreams. Yet most people build their habits without thinking. They repeat the same behaviors day after day simply because they are familiar, not because they are helpful. They check their phone every few minutes, eat unhealthy snacks without thinking, delay tasks whenever they feel bored, or stay up late scrolling until their mind is exhausted. These habits are unplanned, automatic, and powerful. If you do not learn to control your habits will control you. To build daily discipline, you must understand the science of habits, how they form, how they stick, and how they shape your identity. When you understand this internal system, you gain the ability to redesign your life from the inside out. 1. What exactly is a habit? A habit is a behavior your brain performs automatically, with little or no conscious thought. When an action becomes a habit, it does not drain your energy. You do not argue with yourself about it. You simply do it. This automation frees your mind and reduces decision-making. In fact, research shows that much of daily life is driven by habits, not decisions. You may think you are choosing your actions, but many of them are simply repeated patterns your brain follows without effort. Habits are formed through repetition. The more often you perform a behavior, the stronger the habit becomes. This is why habits can be your greatest tool or your greatest trap. A good habit saves your energy. A bad habit steals your energy. A good habit builds your future. A bad habit destroys it.
Discipline and habits are deeply connected.
Discipline is what you use to create the habit. Once the habit is formed, discipline becomes easier because the behavior becomes natural. The goal of daily discipline is not to rely on willpower forever. It is to turn your important actions into habits that run automatically. 2. The habit loop. Cue, routine, reward. Every habit follows a simple loop. Cue, something triggers the behavior. Routine, the action performed. Reward, the benefit your brain receives. Repetition, which strengthens the loop. Understanding this loop gives you the power to design or redesign your habits. Let's break each part down. A. The cue. A cue is anything that signals your brain to start the habit. It could be the time of day, a place, a sound, an emotion, an object, a person, a situation. For example, when you wake up, cue, you check your phone, routine. When you feel bored, cue, you eat snacks, routine. When you sit at your desk, cue, you open social media, routine. When you finish dinner, cue, you watch TV, routine. The cue is powerful because it tells your brain, this is when we do that behavior. If you control your cues, you control your habits.
B. The routine. The routine is the action itself. Reading, exercising, checking your phone, studying, complaining, scrolling, practicing, or procrastinating. Routines can be helpful or harmful. The key is to design routines that match the future you want. C. The reward. The reward is the reason your brain repeats the habit. It could be pleasure, comfort, relaxation, entertainment, a sense of achievement, reduced stress, feeling of progress. Even harmful habits have rewards. Eating junk food gives comfort. Scrolling gives distraction. Procrastinating gives relief from stress. The brain does not care if the reward is good or bad. It only cares if it feels good now. To build new habits, you must create small rewards. To break bad habits, you must remove or replace the reward. 3. Why habits make life easier. The brain loves habits because habits save energy. Every decision you make uses a little bit of mental power. If you had to make conscious decisions for everything, how to walk, how to talk, how to work, how to eat, you would be exhausted. Habits take care of the repetitive actions, so your brain can focus on bigger tasks. This is why discipline becomes easier when your actions become habits. Instead of fighting yourself daily, you simply follow your internal programming. A disciplined person is not someone who uses huge amounts of willpower. A disciplined person is someone who has trained their habits to work for them instead of against them.
4. How habits shape identity. Perhaps the most important thing habits do is shape who you believe you are. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. When you read every day, even a small amount, you vote for the identity of a reader. When you exercise daily, you vote for the identity of a healthy person. When you study consistently, you vote for a student who cares about their future. Your identity is not fixed. It is shaped by your habits. Many people wait for confidence before they take action, but confidence grows from action. The more evidence you give yourself, the stronger your identity becomes. If you want to feel disciplined, you must act disciplined. If you want to feel strong, you must practice strength. If you want to feel organized, you must do organized actions. Identity grows from repeated behavior, and repeated behavior grows from daily habits.
Chapter 4. Building a daily routine that shapes your future. A disciplined life does not happen by accident. It is designed. Behind every successful person, every consistent achiever, every focused learner, and every strong leader, there is a daily routine that keeps them aligned with their goals. Routines are powerful because they remove the need for constant decision-making. They create structure, stability, and clarity. Without a routine,
You wake up each day unsure of what to do, and your actions become controlled by mood, distractions, or whatever pulls your attention first. But with a routine, your day gains direction and purpose. You know where to start, what to do next, and how to end your day feeling accomplished. Building a daily routine is not about creating a strict or rigid schedule. It is about creating a sequence of small, meaningful actions that support the life you want to build. A routine is a framework. It is a guide. It is a tool that helps discipline grow naturally. And most importantly, it is personal. Your routine does not have to look like anyone else's. It must be built around your goals, your responsibilities, your energy, and your reality. In this chapter, we will explore how to design a routine that helps you grow day by day. A routine that is simple enough to follow, flexible enough to adapt, and powerful enough to transform your life. 1. Why a daily routine is essential. The human mind loves structure. When things are unclear, the mind becomes stressed and confused. When everything is unplanned, you spend your day reacting instead of creating. A routine solves this problem. It tells your brain, this is what we do now. Over time, your actions become automatic and discipline becomes easier. A routine gives you clarity because you know what to focus on, consistency because you do it every day, confidence because you see progress, control because you manage your time, and freedom because you stop wasting energy deciding what to do. Without a routine, even simple tasks feel overwhelming. You waste time and energy thinking, deciding, and hesitating. But with a routine, your day gains direction and purpose. You know where to start, what to do next, and how to end your day feeling accomplished.
2. The morning routine, setting the tone for the day. Your morning shapes your entire day. The first hour after you wake up is powerful because your mind is fresh and impressionable. If you start your day with distractions, your mind becomes scattered. If you start with intention, your mind becomes focused. A strong morning routine does not have to be long or complicated. It must simply prepare you mentally, physically, and emotionally. Here are key elements of a powerful morning routine. A. Wake up with purpose. Waking up at the same time each day builds rhythm. You don't have to wake up extremely early. What matters is consistency. When you wake up with purpose, you begin your day with intention instead of confusion. B. Avoid your phone first thing. The moment you check your phone, your mind becomes filled with notifications, messages, and information that you are not ready to process. This steals your focus. Give yourself the first 20 to 30 minutes without screens. Use this time to connect with yourself, not with the world. C. Drink water. After hours of sleep, your body needs hydration. Drinking water wakes your system and improves your focus. It is a small habit with a strong impact. D. Move your body. This could be stretching, a short walk, basic exercises, or anything that increases blood flow. Movement activates energy and reduces morning laziness. You don't need a full workout. 5 to 10 minutes is enough to wake your body. F. Practice stillness. This could be breathing exercises, prayer, meditation, gratitude, or simply sitting in silence. This helps reduce stress and prepares your mind for a calm, focused day. When the mind is quiet, your actions become clear. G. Review your plan for the day. Take a moment to look at your priorities. You do not need a long list. 3 main tasks are enough. This tells your mind what matters most and prevents you from drifting aimlessly. A good morning routine is not about perfection. It is about beginning your day with clarity, calm, and control.
3. The power of a daily focus block. After your morning routine, you need a block of focused work, the part of the day when you dedicate your best energy to your most important goals. This is often called a focus block. A focus block is a period of deep concentration with no distractions. It can be 30 minutes, 1 hour, or 2 hours, depending on your lifestyle. What matters is you choose one task, you remove all distractions, you work with full attention, you stop multitasking. This is where real progress happens. Many people stay busy all day but make no real progress because their attention is scattered. They jump between tasks, messages, notifications, and conversations. A focus block solves this by giving you uninterrupted time to produce meaningful work. During your focus block, put your phone away, close unnecessary tabs, choose a quiet place, set a clear goal, give your full attention. One solid focus block daily is more powerful than hours of unfocused work. 4. The afternoon routine. Maintaining energy and momentum. Afternoons are often difficult. Energy drops, distractions increase, and focus becomes harder. This is why you need a simple afternoon routine to stay centered and productive. Your afternoon routine does not need to be as structured as your morning routine. It simply needs to help you maintain momentum. Here are helpful afternoon habits. A. Take a short break. A 5 to 10 minute break helps your brain reset. Stretch, breathe, drink water, or walk briefly. This refreshes your mind and prevents burnout. B. Eat a light, healthy meal. Heavy or unhealthy meals make you sleepy and unfocused. Choose foods that give long-lasting energy. C. Check your progress. Look at what you have done so far. Celebrate your progress even if it is small. Then decide what needs to be done next.
D. Do simpler tasks. The afternoon is a good time for smaller tasks. Emails, cleaning, planning, organizing, reviewing, or simple practice. Save your heavy tasks for your morning or focus block. E. Move your body again. A short walk or some stretching can bring your energy back. Movement wakes the mind. A good afternoon routine ensures that your day does not collapse after lunch. It gives structure to the hours when discipline is usually weakest. 5. The evening routine, ending the day with intention. Evenings are important because they prepare you for the next day. A good evening routine helps you relax, reflect, and reset your mind. An evening routine can include A. Tidying your space. A clean environment makes your next morning easier. It reduces stress and increases clarity. Cleaning your desk, preparing your clothes, or organizing your room for a few minutes makes a big difference. B. Reflecting on your day. Take a moment to think, what did I do well today? What did I learn? What can I do better tomorrow? Reflection is a powerful tool for growth. It helps you understand your behavior and improve step by step. C. Planning tomorrow. Preparing a simple plan for the next day removes morning confusion. You do not need a long list, just write your top 3 tasks. This reduces stress and increases focus. D. Digital detox. Avoid screens at least 30 minutes before bed. The light from screens affects your sleep. Replace phone time with reading, journaling, or slow breathing. E. A consistent sleep schedule. Sleeping at the same time each night helps your brain recover. Good sleep supports discipline. Without sleep, everything becomes harder. Studying, exercising, staying calm, making decisions, and maintaining motivation. A strong evening routine gives you peace at the end of your day and a strong beginning for the next day.
6. The importance of simplicity in your routine. A routine fails when it becomes too complicated. Many people try to change their life with dramatic plans, waking up extremely early, exercising for an hour, studying for hours, eating a strict diet, and reading every day. These routines look perfect on paper, but are impossible to maintain. A successful routine must be simple, realistic, flexible, enjoyable, sustainable. Small routines last. Big routines die quickly. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. It is better to follow a small routine every day than a big routine once a week. Start simple, improve slowly. Let your routine grow with you. 7.
Adjusting your routine when life changes. Life is not predictable. There will be busy days, stressful days, sick days, and difficult seasons. A strong routine is flexible. It adapts. It changes when necessary, but it does not break. If your schedule changes, your routine must adjust, not disappear. If you are tired, do a lighter version of your routine. If you are traveling, replace your normal habits with simpler ones. Flexibility keeps you consistent. Rigidity leads to failure. 8. Removing distractions from your day. Distractions are the biggest enemy of productivity. They steal your time, break your focus, and weaken your discipline. Most distractions come from phones, social media, notifications, noise, clutter, disorganized schedules, and mental stress. To strengthen your routine, reduce distractions. Put your phone in another room during focus time. Turn off notifications. Keep your space clean. Close apps that are not needed. Use noise-blocking tools if necessary. Set boundaries with people around you. Your mind becomes sharper when your environment becomes quieter.
9. Creating habit triggers in your routine. To make your routine automatic, connect one habit to another. This creates a chain reaction. For example, after I wake up, I drink water. After I drink water, I stretch. After I stretch, I review my plan. After I sit at my desk, I study for 30 minutes. This sequence becomes automatic. The cue for one action becomes the completion of the previous action. This makes your routine stronger. 10. The emotional benefits of a good routine. A successful routine does more than organize your day. It improves your emotional life. When you follow a routine, you feel calmer. You feel more confident. You feel more in control. You feel less stressed. You feel more focused. You feel proud of yourself. You stop living in confusion and start living with clarity. You stop feeling overwhelmed and start feeling capable. A routine reduces anxiety because you always know what comes next. Your emotional stability grows from predictable structure. 11. How routines support long-term success. Many people think success comes from big decisions. In reality, success comes from repeated small actions. These actions become habits. Those habits live inside your routine. Your routine becomes the system that carries you forward. A strong routine protects your goals, builds your discipline, strengthens your habits, reduces your stress, saves your time, increases your focus, improves your mindset. Your future depends on what you do daily, not occasionally. Your daily routine is your personal strategy for becoming the person you want to be.
12. Your routine is a reflection of your priorities. If your routine is filled with distractions, your life will be filled with distractions. If your routine is built around growth, your life will be filled with growth. Your routine shows what you truly value, not what you say you value, but what you actually do. If you want a better life, design a better routine. When you change your daily actions, your entire future changes with them. Conclusion of Chapter 4. A daily routine is one of the strongest tools you can use to build discipline and shape your future. It gives structure to your mornings, clarity to your afternoons, and peace to your evenings. It reduces stress, builds habits, and makes consistent progress possible. Your routine does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be complicated. It must be simple, flexible, and aligned with your goals. Over time, the routine becomes natural. You no longer force yourself to act. You simply follow the rhythm you have created. Discipline is not about forcing yourself through each day.
It is about designing your day so that discipline becomes easier and more automatic. In the next chapter, we will explore how to overcome procrastination, the silent enemy that destroys progress and weakens discipline.
Chapter 5. Overcoming Procrastination. Winning the battle with yourself. Procrastination is one of the biggest obstacles to discipline, progress, and personal growth. It is the silent enemy that hides inside almost every person. It steals our time, weakens our confidence, and delays our dreams. It makes simple tasks feel heavy, important tasks feel impossible, and small tasks feel exhausting. The frustrating thing is that most people do not procrastinate because they are lazy. They procrastinate because their mind is overwhelmed, fearful, confused, or unprepared. Procrastination is not a problem of bad character. It is a problem of understanding how the mind works. If you learn how procrastination operates, you can take its power away. You can regain control of your time, your energy, and your future. Procrastination usually begins in the smallest way. You sit down to study or work, but instead of starting, you reach for your phone. You tell yourself you will begin in 5 minutes, then 10, then 15, and suddenly an hour is gone. Or you plan to clean your room, write a message, complete a task, or start a routine. But the thought of doing it feels uncomfortable, so you avoid it. You promise yourself you will do it later, but later becomes tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes next week. This cycle repeats until you feel guilty, stressed, and disappointed in yourself. You know what you should do, but you cannot bring yourself to do it. This creates a deep internal conflict. The mind wants progress, but the emotions resist effort. To overcome procrastination, you must understand what causes it. Procrastination is not simply a lack of discipline, it is the brain's natural response to discomfort. When something feels boring, difficult, uncertain, or overwhelming, the brain looks for relief. It prefers easy tasks, quick entertainment, and anything that gives instant comfort, such as scrolling, talking, eating, or daydreaming. This creates a pattern where the brain avoids effort and chooses comfort. To break this pattern, you must learn to make action feel easier and resistance feel smaller.
One of the main reasons people procrastinate is fear. Not always fear of failure. Sometimes fear of success, fear of judgment, or fear of not being good enough. When you start a new task, especially something important, your mind immediately begins thinking about the possibility of mistakes, pressure, expectations, or challenges. This fear creates hesitation. Instead of facing the discomfort, the mind escapes into distraction. This is why small tasks are easier to start than big ones. Big tasks activate fear, but when you break a big task into small pieces, you remove fear and replace it with clarity. Another cause of procrastination is perfectionism. Perfectionists delay tasks because they want everything to be perfect before they begin. They want the perfect idea, the perfect moment, the perfect environment, the perfect plan, or the perfect feeling. But perfection is an illusion. If you wait for perfect conditions, you will never begin. Discipline grows from action, not perfection. Progress is a result of starting before you are ready, learning along the way, and improving through repetition. When you accept that your first attempt does not need to be perfect, you free yourself from one of the biggest barriers to action. Procrastination also comes from lack of clarity. When you don't know exactly what to do or how to do it, your mind becomes confused. Confusion creates mental resistance. For example, when you say, "I need to study," your brain does not know where to begin. Should you read a chapter, take notes, review lessons, watch videos? This uncertainty leads to avoidance. But when you make your tasks specific, like study for 15 minutes, read 5 pages, or review 10 vocabulary words, your brain knows exactly what to do and the resistance becomes smaller.
One of the most powerful strategies to defeat procrastination is the 2-minute rule. This rule states that if you are resisting a task, do the smallest possible version of it for just 2 minutes. This could be reading one page, writing one sentence, cleaning one corner, or walking for 2 minutes. The purpose is not to finish the task, but to begin it. Starting is the hardest part. Once you start, momentum builds naturally. This rule works because it removes the emotional weight of the task. It tells your brain, we are not doing something huge, we are only doing something very small. And the brain agrees because small things do not activate fear.
Another effective strategy is reducing friction. Friction is anything that makes a task harder to start. For example, having a messy desk increases friction. Having study materials far away increases friction. Having your phone next to you increases friction. To overcome procrastination, reduce friction by preparing your environment. Keep your materials ready. Clean your workspace. Remove tempting distractions. Make the first step as easy as possible. The easier the environment, the easier the action. Procrastination also weakens when you use the 5-minute promise. This is when you tell yourself, I will do 5 minutes only. The mind relaxes because 5 minutes is easy, but often once you begin, you continue beyond 5 minutes. Your brain switches into focus mode and the resistance disappears. The benefit of this method is that it transforms effort into flow. It teaches the brain that starting is all that matters. Another important tool is time blocking, especially short time blocks like 25 minutes, also known as the Pomodoro method. Time blocking works because it gives your mind a clear beginning and ending. Knowing that you will work for only 25 minutes reduces fear. During these minutes, you remove all distractions and give full focus. Afterward, you rest briefly. This cycle keeps your mind active, focused, and productive. You don't need hours to make progress. Consistent blocks of focused time are enough. A key part of overcoming procrastination is understanding the difference between real rest and fake rest. Fake rest is scrolling, watching short videos, or staying on your phone. Your brain does not actually rest. It becomes overstimulated. Real rest is quiet time, short walks, stretching, breathing, reading, napping, or doing something calming. When you give your brain real rest, you recharge. But when you give your brain fake rest, you drain yourself even more. Procrastination increases when your mind is tired. Proper rest strengthens discipline. You must also learn to work with your energy, not against it. Everyone has natural patterns, times when they feel more focused and times when they feel less focused. Some people work best in the morning, others in the afternoon or evening. You should schedule your most important tasks during your highest energy hours. This reduces procrastination because your mind is more capable during those moments. When you match tasks to energy, productivity rises naturally.
One of the biggest myths about procrastination is the idea that you must feel ready before starting. This is false. You will rarely feel ready. Waiting for readiness is a trap. Action creates readiness. Movement creates motivation. Starting creates energy. Once you understand that action comes before emotion, not the other way around, you unlock a powerful secret of discipline. You do not need to feel like working to begin working. A helpful mindset shift is to see tasks as choices, not punishments. Many people associate work with pressure. They think of responsibilities as heavy or unpleasant. But when you see tasks as choices you make for your growth, your mind becomes more cooperative. You are not forcing yourself. You are choosing to invest in your future. This reduces emotional resistance and makes discipline feel like empowerment, not obligation. Another strategy is setting a simple daily minimum. This means choosing a small daily habit that you will do no matter what, even on bad days, even when you are tired, even when you have little time. For example, read 2 pages, exercise for 5 minutes, write 1 paragraph, study for 10 minutes, tidy for 3 minutes. These small minimums keep your momentum alive.
They prevent the all-or-nothing mentality, which is one of the main causes of long breaks. When you aim for small consistency instead of big perfection, procrastination loses its power. To fight procrastination, you must also learn to avoid multitasking. Multitasking divides attention and slows progress. It creates stress and makes tasks feel harder. Your brain performs best when focused on one thing at a time. When you concentrate fully on one task, you finish faster, with better quality, and with less mental exhaustion. One focused hour is better than 3 distracted hours. Emotions play a major role in procrastination. When you feel stressed, scared, insecure, bored, or overwhelmed, the mind escapes into avoidance. To overcome this, you must learn to name your emotions. When you feel resistance, pause and ask, "What am I feeling right now?" Identifying the emotion reduces its intensity. You stop fighting yourself. You understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, you can act with intention. Accountability is another tool that helps reduce procrastination. This does not mean pressure or punishment. It simply means sharing your goals with someone you trust, or writing them in a place you can see every day. When your goals are visible or shared, they become more real. You feel more responsible. You become more consistent. Finally, one of the most powerful ways to defeat procrastination is to create a strong reason why. When you know the purpose behind your actions, when you connect your daily tasks to your future, your dreams, your values, and your identity, you feel more motivated to begin. Your why becomes your anchor. It reminds you why the effort matters. It helps you push through resistance. It turns simple actions into meaningful progress. In closing, conclusion of Chapter 5. Procrastination is not a sign of weakness. It is a habit of avoidance that grows when tasks feel too big, too unclear, or too uncomfortable. But once you understand how procrastination works, you can take control of it. You can break tasks into smaller steps. Use simple rules like the 2-minute method. Reduce distractions, build better environments, and use time wisely. You can learn to act even when you do not feel ready. You can practice showing up for yourself in small, easy ways until it becomes natural. Procrastination loses its power when action becomes easier than avoidance. And action becomes easier when you design your days with intention, clarity, and purpose. In the next chapter, we will explore how to build unshakable consistency so that your progress continues day after day, even when life becomes difficult.
Chapter 6. The Secret of Consistency. Showing up every day. Consistency is the bridge between goals and achievements. It is the quiet force that transforms effort into progress, and progress into results. Many people try their best for a few days or a few weeks, but then they stop. They lose energy, they lose motivation, they face difficulty, or life becomes busy. What separates those who succeed from those who do not is not intelligence, not talent, and not luck. It is consistency. Consistency is the art of doing the small things every day, even when you do not feel like it, even when life becomes challenging, even when the excitement fades. It is the ability to show up again and again until your actions become a natural part of your life. But consistency is often misunderstood. People imagine consistency as something extreme, as waking up at 5 a.m. every day, working out for hours, studying endlessly, or performing massive tasks without rest. That is not true consistency. True consistency is gentle. It is sustainable. It is built on small actions that you can repeat for months and years. It prioritizes progress over perfection, longevity over intensity, and stability over sudden bursts of effort. Consistency is not about doing everything, it is about doing something. Every single day. Most people struggle with consistency because they focus on intensity. They pressure themselves to do too much. They create huge expectations and complicated routines. For a few days, they follow them, but soon the weight becomes too heavy. Their motivation disappears, and they quit. This creates a painful cycle. Start strong, quit early, feel guilty, and repeat.
The problem is not the person, it is the strategy. Big goals require small beginnings. The strongest routines are the simplest ones. You cannot build a skyscraper in one day. You build it brick by brick. Consistency works the same way. The secret of consistency begins with lowering the barrier to action. When something is easy to start, you are far more likely to repeat it. If you want to read daily, begin with 2 pages. If you want to exercise daily, begin with 5 minutes. If you want to study daily, begin with 10 minutes. These small commitments may look insignificant, but they are seeds. When planted daily, they grow roots. They become familiar, comfortable, and automatic. Once the habit is stable, you can increase the intensity gradually without losing momentum. Small beginnings create big stability.
Another key to consistency is protecting your focus from perfectionism. Perfectionism is the enemy of consistency because it demands flawless performance. The moment you miss a day or make a mistake, perfectionism tells you that you failed. It tells you to start over or give up. But consistency is not destroyed by one bad day. Consistency is destroyed by giving up after a bad day. One missed day is normal. 2 missed days can still be repaired. But when you stop for a week or a month, the habit breaks. Consistency requires forgiveness. It requires flexibility. It requires the courage to begin again. One powerful mindset shift is to embrace the idea of never miss twice. This means that even if you miss one day, which will happen because life is unpredictable, you immediately return the next day. Missing once is a small bump. Missing twice becomes a pattern. This simple rule keeps you on track even during difficult times. You learn that consistency is not about being perfect every day. It is about returning quickly whenever you fall. Consistency also becomes easier when you build identity-based habits. When you define yourself by your actions, consistency becomes part of who you are. For example, instead of saying, "I want to read more," say, "I am a reader." Instead of saying, "I want to exercise," say, "I am a person who takes care of my body." Instead of saying, "I want to learn," say, "I am a learner." When your identity aligns with your habits, your actions no longer feel forced. They feel natural. You act because it matches who you believe you are. One of the greatest tools for consistency is tracking your small wins. When you record your daily actions, whether it is reading, studying, exercising, writing, or practicing, you create visual proof of your efforts. You can use a notebook, a calendar, or a simple checklist. Every time you complete your daily habit, mark it. This creates momentum. The human mind loves seeing progress. When you see a chain of successful days, you feel proud and motivated to continue. You don't want to break the chain. This simple visual habit strengthens discipline without needing willpower. Another important part of consistency is reducing decision fatigue. Decision fatigue happens when you constantly think about when to work, how to work, or what to do. The more decisions you make, the more tired your mind becomes. This leads to inconsistency because your brain starts choosing the easiest option, avoidance. The solution is to create structure. Choose the same time each day for your habit. Keep your materials ready. Remove the need to think. When the mind does not need to decide, it simply acts. This is the foundation of a strong routine.
Consistency requires you to build systems, not pressure. Systems help you stay consistent even on low-energy days. A system may include performing your habit at the same time, preparing your environment, removing distractions, breaking tasks into smaller steps, rewarding yourself for consistency, planning your day in the evening. When you create systems that support your habits, consistency becomes automatic. You no longer rely on motivation. You rely on design. One of the biggest challenges to consistency is emotional resistance. Some days you feel tired, stressed, sad, overwhelmed, or simply unmotivated. On these days, showing up becomes difficult. Many people give up when emotions are strong. But consistency does not require the same level of effort every day.
Only the act of showing up. On bad days, do the minimum version of your habit. If you are too tired to study for 30 minutes, study for 5 minutes. If you cannot exercise for 20 minutes, do 5 minutes of stretching. If you cannot write a full page, write one paragraph. These small efforts maintain your momentum. They remind you that you can still try even when life is hard. This builds emotional strength. Consistency also grows deeper when you understand the difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation is unpredictable. Discipline is reliable. Motivation depends on feelings. Discipline depends on commitment. You may not feel motivated every day, but you can be consistent every day. When you shift your mindset from "I will do this when I feel inspired" to "I will do this because it is part of my life," you become unstoppable. Your habits become stronger than your emotions. A powerful way to strengthen consistency is to limit your goals. Many people fail because they try to change too many things at once. They want to read, exercise, meditate, study, eat healthy, learn skills, and build a business, all at the same time. This is admirable but unrealistic. The mind becomes overwhelmed. Discipline collapses. The solution is to focus on 1 or 2 habits at a time. Build them until they become easy. Then add another. Slow growth is strong growth. Changing one habit deeply is better than trying to change 10 habits weekly.
Consistency is also influenced by the people around you. Your environment includes not only objects, but also individuals. If you spend time with people who complain, avoid responsibility, or lack ambition, your own discipline will weaken. But if your environment includes people who study, improve, work hard, or grow daily, consistency becomes easier. You absorb the energy around you. You must protect your environment. Surround yourself with support, encouragement, and positivity, even if it is through books, videos, or online communities. One of the most important elements of consistency is celebrating the process, not just the result. Results take time. Big goals take months or years. If you focus only on the final outcome, you will feel impatient or frustrated. But if you celebrate the act of showing up every day, reading, walking, studying, cleaning, practicing, you feel successful even before the results appear. This keeps you motivated. It teaches your brain that effort is valuable. It strengthens your identity as a consistent person. Consistency also requires self-compassion, something many people misunderstand. Being consistent does not mean being harsh with yourself. It means treating yourself with kindness on difficult days, forgiving yourself when you slip, and supporting yourself when you struggle. Self-compassion does not weaken discipline. It strengthens it. When you treat yourself like someone you care about, you become more resilient and more committed to your journey. Harshness kills consistency. Compassion builds it. Finally, consistency grows stronger when your goals are connected to a meaningful purpose. When you know why you are doing something, why you are learning, why you are improving, why you are changing, your commitment becomes deeper. A strong why creates strong discipline. It gives you courage on hard days and energy on slow days. When your actions are connected to your dreams, consistency becomes an expression of your future, not a burden of the present.
Consistency is not something magical. It is not something only successful people have. It is a skill you build through small daily actions, forgiving mistakes, simplifying habits, removing distractions, and creating structure. When you focus on consistency instead of perfection, everything becomes easier. Your habits become stronger. Your confidence grows. Your progress becomes visible. And your life begins to transform, quietly, steadily, and powerfully. Consistency is not about doing everything. It is about doing something every single day. It is the commitment to show up, whether with full strength or with minimum effort. It is the decision to continue even when the excitement fades.
It is the discipline to repeat small actions until they shape your character, your habits, and your future. In the next chapter, we will explore how to manage your time effectively so your discipline has room to grow and your goals become achievable in your daily life.
Chapter 7. Mastering Time Management. Making every hour count. Time is the one resource every person receives in equal measure. The rich, the poor, the successful, the struggling. Each of us is given 24 hours a day. Yet, the difference between people is not the amount of time they have, but how they use it. Some people move forward every day, growing, improving, and achieving their goals. Others feel stuck, overwhelmed, or constantly behind. They feel like time controls them instead of the other way around. The truth is simple. If you want to build discipline and success, you must learn how to manage your time with intention. Time management is not a skill for busy people. It is a tool for anyone who wants to live a purposeful, productive life. Time management does not mean filling every minute with tasks. It does not mean working nonstop or becoming a machine. Real time management is about using your hours wisely, aligning your daily actions with your long-term goals, and building a life with balance, clarity, and peace. It is about learning what matters, focusing on what moves you forward, and letting go of what wastes your energy. When you take control of your time, you take control of your life. The biggest misunderstanding about time management is the belief that the goal is to do more. The real goal is not to do more, it is to do what matters most. Many people feel overwhelmed not because their days are full, but because their days are full of the wrong things. They give their time to distractions, unimportant tasks, unnecessary obligations, and activities that bring them no growth. Then they wonder why they feel tired, stressed, or unfulfilled. Time management begins with the courage to choose what to keep, what to remove, what to reduce, and what to prioritize. The foundation of strong time management is awareness. You cannot change how you use your time until you understand where your time currently goes. Most people underestimate how much time they lose to distractions, scrolling on social media, checking the phone every few minutes, watching random videos, wandering around the house, or switching between tasks. When you track your time for just one day, you will be surprised. You will see how often time slips away without you noticing. Awareness brings power. When you see the truth, you gain the ability to change it.
Once you understand your time patterns, the next step is prioritizing. Not all tasks are equal. Some tasks bring enormous value. Reading, studying, practicing, exercising, planning, building skills, or working on your goals. Other tasks are necessary. Chores, responsibilities, errands. And some tasks are simply distractions. To manage your time well, you must decide what belongs in the first category, what belongs in the second, and what must be kept to a minimum. When you treat all tasks the same, your time becomes chaotic. But when you identify your top priorities, your time becomes structured and meaningful. One of the most effective tools for prioritizing is the rule of 3. Each day, choose your 3 most important tasks, your big 3. These tasks should reflect your long-term goals. They should be meaningful, not just urgent. When you complete these 3 tasks, your day is successful, even if everything else is small. This rule prevents overwhelm and focuses your energy on what truly matters. Another powerful technique is time blocking. This means dividing your day into blocks of time and assigning each block a purpose. For example, you may dedicate one block to studying, another block to exercise, another to work, another to reading, and another to rest. Time blocking prevents drifting. It creates structure. It reduces decision fatigue because you no longer ask, "What should I do now?" The answer is already built into your schedule. Time blocking also helps you use your natural energy wisely. Every person has times of the day when they feel most focused, most creative, or most energetic. Some people think clearly in the morning.
Others feel more awake in the afternoon or more inspired at night. Instead of fighting your natural rhythm, use it. Schedule your most important tasks during your highest energy hours. Schedule lighter tasks during your lower energy periods. This simple alignment increases productivity and reduces frustration. A major enemy of time management is multitasking. Many people believe multitasking saves time, but in reality, it destroys focus. The brain cannot fully concentrate on two tasks at once. What you call multitasking is really task switching, your attention jumping back and forth rapidly. This slows you down, increases mistakes, creates mental fatigue, and reduces quality. 1 hour of focused work is worth more than 3 hours of multitasking. To master your time, give your full attention to one task at a time. Finish it or reach a natural stopping point, then move to the next.
In addition to eliminating multitasking, you must also learn to limit distractions. Distractions are everywhere. Notifications, messages, social media, noise, clutter, people interrupting, or your own wandering thoughts. To protect your time, create an environment where focus becomes easy. Put your phone away or use Do Not Disturb. Close unnecessary tabs. Keep your workspace clean. Use headphones or calming music if needed. Focus is not only a mental skill, it is also an environmental design. Time management also requires learning how to say no. Many people waste time because they say yes to everything. Yes to every favor, yes to every invitation, yes to every new task, yes to every social request. Saying yes gives temporary comfort because you avoid disappointing others. But saying yes too often steals your time, destroys your focus, and leaves you overwhelmed. You cannot protect your goals if you cannot protect your time. Saying no is not selfish, it is necessary. A simple, "I can't today," or "I'm busy right now," protects your energy and keeps your day aligned with your priorities. Another helpful strategy is practicing batching. Batching means grouping similar tasks together and doing them in one time block. For example, responding to messages once a day instead of every hour, cleaning the house all at once instead of in random moments, or studying similar subjects in one session. Batching reduces the time lost in switching between tasks and increases efficiency. When your mind stays in one mode, work flows more smoothly. Good time management also requires balancing work and rest. Many people either work too much or rest too much. Both extremes create problems. Overworking leads to burnout, stress, and loss of creativity. Too much rest leads to laziness, procrastination, and wasted potential. The key is to create a balance. After a focused work session, give yourself a short break. After completing an important task, allow yourself a reward. Rest is not an enemy. It is a tool that refreshes your mind and strengthens your discipline. But rest must be intentional, not endless.
There's also a difference between productive time and busy time. Busy time feels active. You're moving, thinking, talking, or doing something, but it does not move you forward. Productive time is focused on meaningful work that contributes to your goals. Many people confuse busyness with productivity. They fill their day with activity but achieve nothing significant. Real-time management eliminates unnecessary busyness and replaces it with intentional, meaningful progress. Another essential aspect of time management is creating systems instead of chaos. For example, having a regular morning routine, keeping your study materials organized, planning your week in advance, or using a consistent schedule for exercise. Systems save time because they remove confusion. When your life is organized, your mind is organized. When your mind is organized, discipline becomes easier. To master time, you must also understand the importance of small, unused moments. Throughout the day, we experience tiny pockets of time, waiting in line, sitting on the bus, resting between tasks, or taking small breaks. These moments may seem too small to matter, but they add up. You can use them to read a few pages, review vocabulary, plan the next hour, breathe deeply, or simply calm your mind. Small moments, when used intentionally, become powerful. Your environment plays a huge role in how you use your time. A messy room makes your mind restless. A cluttered desk decreases focus. A disorganized life creates chaos in your thoughts. Cleaning your space is not a waste of time. It is an investment in clarity. When your environment is simple and clean, your time becomes easier to manage. Time management also requires long-term thinking. Instead of asking, "What do I want now?" ask, "What will matter in 1 year?" Your long-term vision helps you make better choices today. It helps you avoid wasting time on temporary pleasures and instead focus on actions that build your future. When you connect your daily habits to a meaningful future, managing time becomes natural and motivating.
Another powerful practice is planning your day the night before. When you prepare your tasks in advance, you remove morning confusion. You wake up knowing exactly what to do. This strengthens discipline and makes your day smoother. It also helps your brain relax at night because it no longer needs to hold tomorrow's worries. To manage your time effectively, you must also learn to let go of guilt. Many people feel guilty when they rest, guilty when they work slowly, guilty when they make mistakes, guilty when they can't do everything. Guilt does not improve productivity, it destroys it. You must understand that managing time is a skill. It takes practice. You will make mistakes. You will have slow days. But each day is a chance to improve. Be patient with yourself. You are building a system that will support you for life. Ultimately, mastering time management is not about squeezing more tasks into your day. It is about designing your day with intention. It is about protecting your focus, honoring your goals, and respecting your energy. It is about building a life where your time matches your values. When you master your time, your life begins to open up. You feel calmer, more confident, more productive, and more in control. You gain the freedom to work on your dreams and the discipline to follow through.
Time is the foundation of discipline. When you control your time, you control your habits, your growth, and your future. Mastering time management does not require being perfect or busy. It requires being intentional. It requires making clear choices, simplifying your routines, removing distractions, prioritizing what matters, and protecting your energy. When you learn to use your hours wisely, every part of your life improves. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You gain more clarity and confidence. You see real progress in your goals. Time will continue to pass whether you use it or not. The question is not how much time you have, but what you will do with the time you are given. In the next chapter, we will explore how to stay disciplined even when life becomes difficult, during stress, setbacks, challenges, and unexpected obstacles.
Chapter 8. Staying disciplined during difficult times. Every journey toward growth and success will eventually pass through difficult seasons. There will be days when you feel tired, unmotivated, stressed, or discouraged. There will be moments when life becomes unpredictable. Family problems, school pressure, work responsibilities, emotional struggles, sickness, financial stress, or sudden changes that shape your routine. Many people believe discipline should be strongest when life is easy, but the truth is that discipline becomes most important when life is hard. It is during difficult times that your habits, routines, and identity are tested. It is during challenges that discipline becomes either your strongest weapon or the first thing you lose. Difficult times do not mean you are weak. They do not mean you are failing. They simply mean you are human. No one can avoid struggle. No one can escape challenges. But what separates disciplined people from inconsistent people is not the presence of difficulty. It is their response to it. Disciplined people understand that hard days are part of the journey, not a reason to stop. They do not give up when life becomes messy. Instead, they adjust, simplify, and continue in small ways. They remain flexible but committed. They adopt without abandoning their goals. One of the first lessons in staying disciplined during difficult times is understanding energy cycles. Your energy will not be the same every day. Some days you feel strong and productive. Other days you feel weak or overwhelmed. This is natural.
Discipline does not require you to perform at 100% every day. It requires you to give whatever you can. On high-energy days, you may push yourself further. On low-energy days, you can do the minimum version of your habit. What matters is not the size of the effort, but the consistency of the effort. Hard days are not for perfection. They are for survival and small progress.
When life becomes difficult, one of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to maintain their routine exactly as it was during easy times. This leads to frustration and guilt. But discipline is not rigidity. Discipline is adaptability. When your life changes, your routine must change with it. If you are stressed with exams, reduce your workout time. If you are exhausted from work, shorten your study sessions. If you are emotionally overwhelmed, give yourself space while keeping tiny habits alive. Adapting your routine during hard times protects your long-term progress. It prevents burnout and keeps you moving forward when others quit. Another important principle is lowering your expectations during stressful periods. When you feel pressure, your brain becomes more sensitive to discomfort. The smallest task can feel heavy. Instead of pushing yourself too hard, make the task smaller. If you planned to read for 20 minutes, read for 5. If you planned to write a full page, write 1 paragraph. If you planned to walk for 30 minutes, walk for 10. These small actions keep your habit alive. They remind your mind that you are still capable, still committed, and still moving. During difficult times, the enemy is not lack of ability. It is mental resistance. The mind becomes filled with worries, responsibilities, or sadness. This creates emotional noise, making it harder to focus. To stay disciplined, you must learn to calm your mind. A few minutes of silence, deep breathing, prayer, medication, journaling, or slow walking can reduce mental stress. When your mind becomes quieter, discipline becomes easier. You cannot control every challenge in life, but you can control how your mind responds. A powerful tool for staying disciplined during hardships is to focus on identity instead of results. Results often slow down during difficult periods. You may not see progress as quickly. You may feel stuck. But identity-based discipline does not depend on visible results. Your identity remains strong even when results seem slow. When you say, "I am someone who keeps going," you protect yourself from quitting. When you say, "I am disciplined even on hard days," you strengthen your inner commitment. Identity gives stability when the outside world becomes unstable.
Another key to staying disciplined during difficult seasons is accepting imperfection. You will make mistakes. You will miss days. You will feel unmotivated. You will face setbacks. This is normal. What destroys discipline is not mistakes. It is the belief that mistakes mean failure. The most disciplined people in the world miss days too. They feel tired too. They struggle too. The difference is that they do not allow small mistakes to become big failures. They return quickly. They reset. They begin again. They understand that restarting is part of discipline, not a sign of weakness. Support also plays a crucial role in discipline during hard times. Humans are social beings. We draw strength from connection, from encouragement, and from understanding. When life becomes difficult, do not isolate yourself. Share your struggles with a friend, family member, mentor, or community. Even a short conversation can lift weight from your heart. Being understood reduces stress, and reduced stress makes discipline easier. You do not need to face challenges alone. During difficult periods, it is also essential to simplify your priorities. Stress makes the mind feel overwhelmed, and overwhelm leads to paralysis. You might feel like there are too many things to do and not enough time to do them. The solution is to focus on what truly matters. Choose 1 or 2 priorities and give them your energy. Let go of unnecessary tasks. Your life will not collapse if you adjust your responsibilities. Simplicity creates calm, and calmness supports discipline. Another important mindset to cultivate is seeing challenges as part of the process rather than interruptions. Many people treat hard days as signs that they should stop. They see challenges as proof that their goal is too difficult. But the truth is that challenges are natural. They strengthen your discipline. They teach resilience. They force you to grow.
every successful person you admire went through difficult seasons. None of them reached success without facing pressure, setbacks, or failures. What made them succeed was the ability to continue despite these obstacles.
To stay disciplined during difficult times, you must also be aware of negative self-talk. When life becomes stressful, the mind often becomes self-critical. You may hear thoughts like, "I'm failing, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I'm too tired, it's useless." These thoughts drain energy and create emotional resistance. To stay disciplined, replace negative self-talk with supportive thoughts. "I'm doing my best. I can still make small progress. This moment will pass. I'm strong enough to continue." Small steps count too. Your thoughts shape your discipline. Speak to yourself like someone you care about. Another valuable practice during difficult times is grounding yourself in routine, even if the routine is small. When life becomes chaotic, routine brings stability. Routine reduces stress by giving you a predictable structure. Even a very simple routine, like drinking water in the morning, reading 2 pages, stretching for 3 minutes, or reviewing your plan, helps anchor your mind. It gives you a sense of control when everything feels uncertain.
Chapter 9. Your environment shapes your discipline. Many people try to build discipline by focusing only on their willpower, their motivation, or their habits. They believe that success comes from fighting their own mind and forcing themselves to do difficult things every day. But what most people do not realize is that discipline does not depend only on internal strength. It depends heavily on your environment. Your surroundings, the people you interact with, the tools you use, the noise around you, the culture you live in, and the physical spaces you spend time in all influence your behavior more deeply than you think. Your environment can support your discipline or silently destroy it. It can push you forward or pull you backward. It can strengthen your self-control or weaken it. Discipline becomes far easier when your environment is designed to help you. You do not need to fight your mind every day if your surroundings naturally guide you toward good habits. For example, if your room is clean, your desk is organized, your phone is far away, and your tools are ready, you will naturally feel more focused. But if your room is messy, your desk is cluttered, distractions are everywhere, and noise fills the space, your discipline will crumble without you realizing it. This is not because you are weak, but because environment influences behavior subconsciously. Your environment is powerful because it creates cues that trigger your habits. A cue is a signal your brain uses to start a behavior. If your phone sits next to you on your desk, the cue is strong. You will pick it up. If unhealthy snacks are visible in your kitchen, the cue is strong. You will eat them. If your study materials are hidden in a drawer, the cue is weak. You won't study. This is why changing your environment is often more effective than forcing yourself to change your behavior. When you control your cues, you control your habits.
One of the simplest ways to build discipline is to make good habits easier by adjusting your environment. If you want to read more, keep books in visible places, on your desk, beside your bed, near your morning coffee. If you want to exercise, lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to study, keep your notebook and pens ready on your desk. If you want to wake up early, put your alarm far from your bed so you must stand up to turn it off. These small adjustments turn discipline into something natural instead of something forced. Just as you must make good habits easier, you must also make bad habits harder. If your phone is your biggest distraction, put it in another room during work or study sessions. If you waste time on social media, delete the apps for a while or log out after every use. If you eat junk food often, stop buying it or keep it somewhere less visible. If you procrastinate on your bed, do your work outside your bedroom. The harder the bad habit becomes, the weaker it becomes. Discipline is not only about pushing yourself, it is also about removing the triggers that pull you toward the wrong direction. Another crucial part of your environment is the people around you. The people you interact with daily influence your mindset, your habits, your energy, and your discipline.
If you spend time with people who complain, avoid responsibility, waste time, or discourage growth, their behavior will slowly affect you. You may not notice it at first, but negativity spreads easily. Your discipline becomes weaker because your environment is not supportive. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who improve themselves, read, work hard, develop skills, and take responsibility for their lives, you will naturally rise to their level. Humans mirror the people around them. If you want to be disciplined, you must choose an environment filled with disciplined people, or at least people who inspire discipline.
Sometimes this means creating a virtual environment when real-life surroundings are not supportive. You can follow inspiring creators, watch educational videos, join online communities of learners, or listen to positive podcasts. Even digital influences affect your discipline. What you consume daily becomes part of your internal environment. If you consume negativity, drama, or meaningless entertainment, your focus weakens. But if you consume knowledge, encouragement, and inspiration, your discipline grows. Your environment also includes the physical arrangement of your spaces. A messy room creates stress. A cluttered desk weakens focus. A noisy house fuels procrastination. Your physical space should reflect the life you want, not the life you are trying to escape. Clean spaces create mental clarity. Organized spaces make action easier. Quiet spaces strengthen concentration. Improving your environment does not require money. It requires intention. Sometimes cleaning your room is not just a chore. It is a mental reset. It is a message to yourself. I care about my life. I respect my goals. Lighting and sound are also important environmental factors. Natural light improves mood and energy. Quiet spaces reduce stress. Soft music can boost focus for some people. Noise and darkness make discipline more difficult. By adjusting these small details, you create a space where your mind feels ready to work instead of ready to escape. But environment is not only physical, it is also emotional and mental. For example, your internal emotional environment affects discipline just as much as your physical space. If you fill your mind with negative thoughts, self-doubt, or fear, your discipline will weaken. If you constantly compare yourself to others, your motivation will fall. If you allow too much stress to build, your focus collapses. To maintain discipline, you must protect your inner environment, your mindset, your beliefs, your self-talk. A healthy emotional environment includes kindness toward yourself, patience, hope, realistic expectations, and gratitude. These emotions support discipline by making the journey easier. When your inner world is calm, your actions become steady. But when your inner world is chaotic, your actions become inconsistent. Internal discipline requires internal peace.
Another part of your environment is your daily rhythm. When you build a routine, you create a predictable structure. When your days follow a pattern, your mind feels safer and more organized. This internal order makes it easier to follow your habits. Environment does not only mean objects, it means the atmosphere you live in. A chaotic life creates chaotic discipline. A structured life creates structured discipline. To strengthen your discipline, you must also create environmental reminders. These are small visual cues that remind you of your goals. For example, a motivational quote on your wall, a journal beside your bed, a progress tracker on your desk, a habit calendar on your door, a list of your goals on your phone screen, a message to your future self in your notebook. These reminders keep your goals alive in your mind. They prevent you from forgetting why you started. They act like small sparks that reignite your discipline when you feel tired or distracted. Another powerful environmental tool is accountability. When someone knows your goals, your discipline becomes stronger. You do not need to share your entire life with someone, but having one person who checks on your progress can keep you consistent. This person can be a friend, teacher, family member, or online partner. The simple act of knowing someone is aware of your commitment increases your effort. Humans naturally perform better with accountability.
A supportive environment also includes removing temptation before it appears. Many people fail because they try to fight temptation in the moment, but the easiest battle is the one you avoid. For example, if you tend to snack late at night, don't keep snacks in your room. If you get distracted by your phone, charge it in another room. If you oversleep, use a loud alarm away from your bed. Eliminating temptation is not weakness, it is wisdom. Strong people design environments that support their goals. Most importantly, your environment must reflect your future self, not your past self. If you want to become more organized, create organized spaces. If you want to become more focused, remove distractions. If you want to become healthier, surround yourself with healthy cues. If you want to study more, make your study area comfortable and inviting. Your environment should be a daily reminder of the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. Your environment silently shapes your discipline every day. It influences your habits, your focus, your energy, and your mindset. By changing your surroundings, even in small ways, you make discipline easier and more natural. You no longer rely on willpower alone. Instead, your environment becomes your support system, your guide, and your assistant in building the life you want. A good environment reduces resistance. A good environment increases focus. A good environment protects your habits. A good environment builds your future. In the next chapter, we will explore how self-belief and confidence influence discipline, and how strengthening your mind can multiply your progress.
Chapter 10. The Power of Self-Belief. Building the inner strength behind discipline. Discipline is not only a matter of habits, routines, or time management. It is deeply connected to the beliefs you hold about yourself. What you think about your abilities, your future, your worth, and your potential shapes every action you take. Self-belief is the foundation of discipline. Without it, every goal feels heavy, every step feels uncertain, and every challenge feels impossible. But with strong self-belief, even difficult tasks become manageable, and even slow progress feels meaningful. Your inner voice, the one that speaks to you when no one else is around, can either push you forward or hold you back. The journey toward discipline begins not outside, but inside your mind. Many people struggle with discipline because they carry deep doubts about themselves. They secretly believe they are not capable, not strong enough, not smart enough, not disciplined enough, or not worthy of success. These beliefs act like invisible chains that limit their behavior. Even when they try to change, these doubts whisper in the background, "You can't do this. You always fail. You're not like others. Why even try?" Such thoughts destroy motivation and make every effort feel heavier. When your self-belief is weak, your discipline becomes fragile. One powerful truth you must understand is this: you were not born disciplined or undisciplined. Discipline is not a personality trait. It is not something you either have or do not have. Discipline is a skill, and like any skill, it grows through practice. But if you believe you are not the type of person who can be disciplined, you will not practice the skill. Your beliefs will limit your effort, and your lack of effort will confirm your beliefs. This creates a painful cycle where the mind says, "See, I told you couldn't do it." Breaking this cycle begins with challenging your internal story.
Your internal story is the narrative you tell yourself about who you are. For years, you may have repeated negative stories. I procrastinate too much. I can't focus. I'm not consistent. I give up easily. I'm bad at routines. Or I don't have discipline. These stories become mental habits. They shape your behavior, your choices, and your confidence. But the truth is that these stories are not facts. They're interpretations. They come from past experiences, failures, or fear. And just as habits can change, stories can change too. To build strong discipline, you must build a new internal identity. Instead of saying, "I want to be disciplined," say, "I am becoming a disciplined person."
Instead of saying, I always procrastinate, say, I'm learning to start with small actions. Instead of saying, I'm not consistent, say, I'm improving my consistency every day. These small shifts in language create powerful shifts in mindset. The brain responds to identity. It wants to act in ways that match who you believe you are. When you change your identity, your behavior follows. Self-belief grows through evidence, not imagination. The more you act with discipline, even in small ways, the more evidence you give yourself that you are capable. For example, if you commit to reading for just 2 minutes a day and you show up every day, your brain receives evidence. I can be consistent. If you commit to stretching for 5 minutes each day and you follow through, you create more evidence. I keep my promises. Confidence does not appear suddenly. It grows drop by drop from small daily victories. Over time, these small drops fill the container of self-belief until it overflows. Another key part of self-belief is understanding the difference between failure and feedback. Many people fear failure so deeply that they avoid trying. But failure is not evidence that you are incapable. It is simply information. It tells you what didn't work. It gives you a chance to adjust your approach. It helps you understand yourself better. Failure only becomes harmful when you use it as proof that you cannot succeed. But when you use failure as fuel for improvement, it strengthens your discipline. Every setback becomes an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient.
Self-belief is also influenced by the way you speak to yourself. During difficult moments, your self-talk matters more than anything else. If your inner voice is harsh, critical, or judgmental, your discipline will be weak. You cannot grow when you are constantly attacking yourself. But when your inner voice becomes supportive, even on days when you slip or make mistakes, you create emotional safety. You allow yourself to grow without fear. Self-compassion is not weakness. It is a powerful form of strength. It keeps you moving forward when perfectionism wants to push you backward. Another major part of self-belief is understanding that growth is a gradual process. Many people expect instant results. They think discipline will immediately transform their life. When the change is slow, they become discouraged and doubt themselves. But slow progress is still progress. Tiny steps, repeated consistently, eventually lead to big change. Believing in yourself means trusting the process, even when the results are not visible yet. A seed does not become a tree overnight. Your discipline will not become perfect overnight. Growth requires patience, commitment, and time. Comparing yourself to others is another enemy of self-belief. When you look at people who seem more successful, more disciplined, or more accomplished, you may feel inferior. You may think, why am I not like them? But comparison is unfair because you are comparing your beginning to someone else's middle or end. You do not see their struggles, failures, or years of practice. You only see their results. The only meaningful comparison is with your past self. If you are improving, even slightly, you are successful. Growth is personal. You do not need to match anyone else's journey. Believing in yourself also means accepting that you are capable of change. Many people carry stories from their past that make them feel stuck. They think, I've been like this for too long, or I've failed too many times, or it's too late for me. But as long as you are breathing, change is possible. Your brain is capable of learning. Your habits are capable of evolving. Your identity is capable of shifting. The past does not define your future unless you choose to let it. Every new day is a clean page. You decide what goes on it.
Surrounding yourself with positive influences can also strengthen your self-belief. If you absorb negativity, criticism, and doubt from others, your discipline will weaken. But if you spend time with people who encourage growth,
Whether in person or through books, videos, or online communities, your belief in yourself will expand. Inspiration is contagious. Confidence can be learned. Self-belief can be cultivated through the company you keep. A powerful tool for building self-belief is visualization. When you imagine yourself taking action, succeeding, staying disciplined, or achieving your goals, you activate the same brain pathways as real practice. Visualization prepares your mind for success. It makes the future feel possible and familiar. When your mind believes something is possible, your actions become bolder. Finally, self-belief grows when you recognize your inherent worth. You are not valuable because of your achievements. You are valuable because you are human. You deserve success, growth, and happiness just as much as anyone else. When you believe in your worth, discipline becomes an act of self-respect. You take care of yourself because you deserve it. You invest in your goals because your future matters. You protect your habits because your life is meaningful. Self-belief is the engine that powers discipline. Without it, every effort feels heavy. With it, every challenge becomes manageable. Building self-belief is not about pretending to be perfect. It is about recognizing your potential, rewriting your inner story, collecting small daily victories, and refusing to let fear or doubt control your life. When you believe in yourself, you act differently. You try again. You adapt. You stay consistent. You embrace challenges. You grow. Your habits strengthen. Your routines become smoother. Your discipline becomes deeper. In the next chapter, we will explore how your long-term vision and purpose give direction to your discipline. Because discipline without purpose leads nowhere, but discipline with purpose becomes unstoppable.
Conclusion. The life you want begins with the habits you build today. Discipline is not a mystery reserved for a few special people. It is not a gift you must be born with, or a talent only certain individuals possess. Discipline is a choice, one made quietly, repeatedly, and intentionally. It is built one small action at a time, shaped by your routines, strengthened by your environment, guided by your purpose, and powered by your belief in yourself. Everything you have read in this book leads to one simple truth. Your life is created by what you do every day. Every chapter in this book has shown a different piece of the puzzle. You learn that small actions have incredible power, that motivation alone cannot carry you, that habits govern your behavior, that routines bring clarity, that procrastination steals your potential, that consistency builds momentum, that time management creates freedom, that your environment silently shapes your discipline, and that self-belief forms the foundation of everything you do. All these principles connect to form one powerful system, a system that can transform your life from the inside out. Daily discipline is not about perfection. It is not about strict rules or heavy pressure. It is not about judging yourself harshly or chasing unrealistic expectations. Discipline is about learning to show up for yourself day after day in small but meaningful ways. It is about understanding that progress grows slowly, silently, and steadily. It is about discovering that your habits shape your identity, and your identity shapes your future. The life you dream of, the person you want to become, will not appear suddenly. It will be built through tiny steps, repeated consistently. 5 minutes of reading a day will make you wiser. 10 minutes of studying a day will increase your knowledge. A short walk each morning will strengthen your body. Decluttering your space will clear your mind. Planning your day will give you direction. Speaking kindly to yourself will build your confidence. These habits may appear small, but together they become the foundation of your best life. There will always be difficult days. There will be moments when you feel tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. There will be seasons of stress, uncertainty, or emotional struggle. Discipline does not remove challenges from your life, but it gives you the strength to move through them. When you practice discipline consistently, you become a stronger, calmer, more focused version of yourself. You learn to trust yourself. You learn to depend on your habits instead of your emotions. You learn that success is not something you wait for,
It is something you build.
The most important message of this book is that you are capable of transformation. You are capable of discipline. You're capable of changing your habits, improving your routines, mastering your time, overcoming procrastination, and believing in yourself again. You are capable of designing a life that reflects your deepest values and your greatest potential. Change does not require dramatic actions. It requires daily commitment. As you leave the final pages of this book, remember this. Discipline is not something you finish. It is something you live. It is a journey, a lifestyle, a quiet promise you make to yourself. You are not expected to be perfect. You are expected to try every day in small ways. The more you try, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more confident you become. And the more confident you become, the greater your discipline becomes. Your future is shaped by the choices you make today. Start with one small action. Repeat it tomorrow and the next day. With time, your habits will become your strength. Your routines will become your stability. Your mindset will become your compass, and your discipline will become your greatest power. You do not need a different life. You need different daily actions, and you are fully capable of taking them. Your journey has already begun. Now, keep walking, one small disciplined step at a time.
Daily discipline, how small actions create big success. Introduction. Every person dreams of building a better life. We imagine having more confidence, more money, more health, more knowledge, or more peace. We picture our future self living with purpose and achievement. But between who we are today and the future we want, there is a path we must walk. And that path is not built on miracles, sudden luck, or big dramatic moments. It is built on something quieter, smaller, and more powerful. Daily discipline. In a world that celebrates quick wins and overnight success stories, discipline can feel boring. It does not shine like talent. It does not impress like genius. It does not attract attention like huge achievements. But discipline is the invisible engine behind every strong life. It is the reason people move forward when motivation fades. It is what keeps goals alive when challenges appear. And it is what transforms small, simple actions into extraordinary results. If you look closely at anyone who has achieved something meaningful, an athlete, a business owner, a student, a creator, a leader, you will notice a pattern. They did not rely on motivation alone. They did not wait for the perfect moment. They did not depend on talent or luck. Instead, they committed to a series of daily actions, repeated again and again, even on the days when they did not feel like it. These small actions, done with consistency, became habits, and those habits built the future they wanted. This book is about that process, the power of small steps and the discipline to repeat them every day. Daily discipline is not about punishing yourself or living without joy. It is not about being perfect. It is about choosing what matters and then showing up for it each day, even in a small way. It is about doing the things you said you would do, even when you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. It is about keeping promises to yourself. Most people fail not because their goals are impossible, but because they tried to change everything at once. They start with big plans, big expectations, and big pressure. When they can't keep up, they quit, and they think they have failed. But they did not fail. Their strategy did. Success is not built on big actions. It is built on small actions done consistently.